Hello, everyone. My guest today is Trevor Testwuide. He's the co-founder and CEO of Measured, an industry leader in cross-channel media incrementally measurement portfolio investment decisions. He spent 20 years building careers in enterprise technology companies. He's a pioneer and expert in the cross-channel marketing measurement category, having spent the last 10 years working with advertisers to deploy and benefit from advanced cross-channel measurement technologies. Trevor, you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, let's do it. That's quite a
First off,
mouthful there, Nathan.
heck of a domain name. What's the story on measured.com?
Yeah, that's great. We we lucked out in that landing that URL. So Measured exists to help marketers understand media incrementality. What that is what is the true incremental marginal contribution driven by a media tactic against your business. The methodology is anchored in test and control experimentation. So think of having an audience exposed to a media tactic, another audience not exposed to the media tactic. What is the difference in the two conversion rates informs incremental marginal contribution. And you can think of us as a portfolio management tool, like a Fidelity or a Schwab or an E-Trade for marketing. We live right in between kind of finance and marketing. This contribution incrementality language is really the language of finance, and it's a concept that we apply to marketing. So we're this finance tool for marketing.
And how do you bill for this? Is it an agency or is it a pure SaaS play?
No, it's a SaaS engagement complemented by customer success resources. So if you read our contracts, they're SaaS-based contracts. There's a service element to it. As a thought partner and industry expert, we pop on and do weekly calls and monthly business reviews to help them make the most of our technology and tools. It's SaaS complemented by CS.
And so I love this model, right? A lot of the SaaS companies with the highest net dollar retention complement it with some form of productized service on the back end, and they use their technology to make that a higher margin productized service. Last year, if you add up your total revenue, what percent was SaaS versus what percent was service-based revenue or productized services?
We don't break it out. If you read our contract, we don't bill and reconcile back on ours. What I will tell you is last year we were right around an 80% gross margin business.
Yeah, that's great. Blended.
Yeah, and that factors in 100% of our CS salaries. That also factors in onboarding engineers. When we kick off an engagement, you have a director of customer success that owns the success of the engagement. We also have a solution architect that is responsible for getting the engagement fully deployed and onboarded and aligned to each unique business that we work with. So both of those salaries are factored in, and we still arrive at just under 80%. But at steady state, I expect this business to be 80, slightly north of 80% gross margin business.
And what does this typically look like? I mean, the average customer that uses you, what are they going to pay you per month or per year to use you plus the technology?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. On an entry point, it could be $7,500 a month for a very simple engagement. On the high end, it could be 25, 30, sometimes north of that. Is it a function of scope and complexity? So scope of experiments we're deploying, scope of brands and geos that we're deploying, and then the service part of that as well.
Interesting. So your main ways to upsell someone from $7,000 a month to $20,000 a month is based off, it sounds like, number of experiments. Are there any other usage-based upsell metrics you use to drive expansion revenue for the business?
Yeah, it's really a number of channels. So as you look across a portfolio, we seek to be the source of truth system of record for cross-channel media reporting, right? And some of these clients come to us and they've got 2 or 3 channels in play. Others come to us and they have 20, 25 channels in play. So how many channels are we integrated into and presenting in this portfolio view? How many experiments are we deploying to inform in-market incrementality for these tactics? We have a lot of international clients that have multiple brands. So is this a single brand and a single geo, or is this a single brand across multiple geos? And in those cases, the contracts can get quite north of the high end number that I gave you.
What's the backstory here? When did you launch the company?
Yeah, my co-founder and I, we met in 2011 at a company called Visual IQ. It was really the pioneer of user-level algorithmic multi-touch attribution. Madame was my head of product there. I was out evangelizing the business and leading a revenue for the West Coast. Madame and I worked very closely together there from 2011 to 2014. and really found a great partnership in Madan. So we've been close friends over the last 10 years. He reached out to me in the beginning of 2017 and with this innovative idea around deploying experiments to solve this cross-channel media attribution problem statement, which traditionally was done through building user-level paths. That was becoming more and more difficult. It's become now nearly impossible to do, and that's mapping like a user's ID. Nathan, your ID from being exposed on, let's say, Google Media to Facebook Media to Pinterest Media to a conversion. It is no longer possible within the realities of MarTech to build these user level path of exposures to a conversion. Madan was seeing this back in 2015, working across a portfolio of clients as the walled gardens were starting to really dominate the media mix. And tapped me on the shoulder and said, I think the future of solving this attribution problem statement is incrementality measurement, experimentation. I've got a framework.
So 2017 was launch.
That's right, January 2012.
And how did you guys, equity conversation is really difficult with co-founders. It sounds like maybe he was CTO and you're on the other side. How do you guys have the equity conversation, or do you just split 50-50?
Yeah, Madan and I have always been really great friends. And I think it was a very simple conversation that we were going to be 50-50 partners. There's so much that he brings to the table, so much I do. And we're a very complementary partnership. So now 4 years in, it's proven to be a really outstanding.
Still 50-50, or have you sold some to investors? Have you raised any capital?
We haven't brought on any equity partners, no.
I love that. So 100% bootstrapped.
100% bootstrapped. Yeah,
congratulations.
It's a hell of a journey, but very happy that we've taken that approach. And we were both of a strong mind that we wanted to bootstrap this company when we started it, and fund the company through customer contracts, be incredibly capital efficient. One of our superpowers is how capital efficient we are. We've got some great engineering resources overseas.
How many people are full-time on the team?
Full-time is 42 today.
And how many engineers do you have, part-time and full-time?
Of those 42, there's one full-time marketing person, there's one marketing sales, and then there's me on the business side. There's 3 of us that are on the business side. The other 39 are engineering, product, data science, customer success. Yeah. So
does the one salesperson carry a quota?
Yes. I mean, we've got a target. I share the target with him. I spend more than half of my time out evangelizing the company in a sales capacity. So we have a target that we agree on, and he is comped against that target. Yes.
What was that target, you plus him, for last year in terms of new I guess ARR added, or however you measure it?
Yeah, the target. I'll share the growth. So last year we planned on tripling the business last year, but with the COVID lightning strike in March, I adjusted that down to doubling the business last year. We ended up growing the company by 250%. So more than doubled the business last year.
Oh, sorry. I guess one of the critical first hires any founder makes is your sales hire, and the quota you assign to the sales hire, you can kill yourself if you don't do it the right way, right? If the quota is too close to full on target earnings and the ratios are out of whack, usually at scale, it's usually at like 5x typically. Is that what you're doing inside your business, about 5x quota relative to full OT?
Yeah, I've spent my career in enterprise sales. I'm 22 years in. I've always been in an enterprise sales role selling technology. And so that's where I've spent quite a bit of my time here at Measured. And so the first hire was not sales. That was with me. And so I brought in a gentleman by the name of James Bands, who's just another veteran in our industry, to help me with marketing and taking all the leads that come in. And so that was not a problem that we had to wrestle with early on in the company.
Well, so sorry, especially considering your background in enterprise sales, my question is even more relevant. What ratio did you set quota to full OTE for your first sales hire?
Yeah. So like I said, I don't have an exclusive sales hire right now, right? So
you plus him manage the quota, right? The growth?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not a founder, you are a founder. So your first guy doing sales with a quota target. I'm just curious how you think through that.
Yeah. So, it's aligning to his incentives, making sure that I put a comp plan in front of him, that is very attractive. What the ratio looks like, I have to take a look at it. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Come on, you're in enterprise sales and you don't know the quoted on target earnings ratio of your first guy doing sales directly? Come on.
Yeah, so it's us together own the number for the business. So we team up in a blended way to hit that growth goal.
Fair.
So
Okay.
That's a model that I will figure out at some point this year as I build out a sales engine. But at this point, it's been a blended effort.
Take me back to your first 2 or 3 customers. How'd you land them?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's so I did an MBA at USC. The 2 things they preach in MBA school is, number 1, fail forward. And number 2, if you're going to start a company, go out and find a customer, solve a really hard problem for them, prove it, and then start the business. And so we started the company when we landed our first contract. The brand is called Johnny Was. Mm-hmm. We were very transparent with the brand on where we were with our technology and what the engagement and expectations were going to be. 4 years later, we still work with this brand, Johnny Was, and the CEO, Rob Travers. He's a big fan of ours. So we landed this contract. First contract I'll share was $185,000. I called Madan and I said, let's start this company and take your technology to market. Madan had been, working on the innovation here for quite a while. And so we decided to, with that contract, incorporate the business, and off we went.
That's great. Now, how many of these guys are you working with today? How many customers?
Yeah, today we have 45 customers.
So still you can still do high touch, high ACV. That's sort of the approach.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the plan for this year is to grow to 100, but only if we can do so in a responsible way where CSAT is high. Everyone in this company is rallied around CSAT. We live and die on happy clients, especially in this world of marketing, analytics, and decisioning.
Yep. And 45 customers at your minimum price point of $7,500 a month, which puts you somewhere right at like $340,000 in MRR. Definitely north of that right now.
Yeah, definitely north of that right now. Yeah.
Do you think
that would be a minimum entry point for a very turnkey, scalable, like Shopify plus e-com business?
Yeah. So definitely north of 4 million run rate in terms of last year. I mean, how close are you? Do you think you can get above 10 million revenue this year in terms of run rate by December?
Yes. So that is the plan and the goal, and we've got a clear line of sight on passing that $10 million ARR mark this year.
That's great. And with that target this year, where were you exactly 1 year ago in terms of revenue? It sounds like maybe in the 2-ish range, 2 million.
Yeah, like I said, we grew 250% last year.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know what the base would be, right? So if you're at around 4 or 5 million today, I guess you'd be somewhere 2.5 million a year ago.
Yeah, closer to north of 5 million right now, right around 5 million.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's great. That's incredible growth during COVID. Did most of that come from landing new customers or expanding the current ones you already worked with?
Came from both. And we were actually benefited from to certain extent benefited from COVID. We help e-com brands and traditional brands make that transition over to being a digital first company. And so we work with a lot of e-com, we work with a lot of retail, and helping them migrate over to a digital strategy was where clients really leaned into us.
Love that. Trevor, thanks for taking us to the top. Where can people learn more about you?
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, measure.com, www.measure.com.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know